Hello, good afternoon, students and parents. Thanks for joining our webinar section about the introduction of the broad-based mission program GIS 2610. In this broad-based programs, we have 6 majors, including European Studies, Geography, Global and China Studies, Government and International Studies, History, and Sociology. So that means that if you are interested in any of these 6 majors, you will be enrolled in GIS 2610. You will receive a broad-based training at the very first beginning, and then you will be invited to apply for the majors. Then you can choose any one of these 6 majors for your studies. Okay, so in this 45 minutes, my colleagues and also myself will introduce the broad-based mission programs and the majors to you. So this is the day's schedule. So first of all, we will have an overall introduction of our broad-based mission programs. In the second part, we will have more specific introduction on the major programs. In this session, we will have representatives from Geography, Global and China Studies, and Histories. So if you're interested in European Studies, Global Government and International Studies, and Sociology, you're welcome to join our coming section at 3 p.m. So after the major programs introduction, we'll have an introduction on Emission Requirements, followed by Q&A. In our broad-based program, we have 6 majors, including, as mentioned earlier, including European Studies, Geography, Global and China Studies, Government and International Studies, Histories, and Sociology. And in these 6 majors, we have 2 new majors from 2022 entries, that is European Studies and Global and China Studies. After students come here, students will first receive a broad-based social science training as a foundation for more advanced studies in the major. So in this broad-based training, students will can join a wide different type of writing activities that will help our students to know more about the 6 majors and explore their real study interests and assess the capacity. So this is also an opportunity for students to connect to student society and have peer support. So this is the curriculum for the 4-year program. Students are required to take a total of 128 units, including 4 parts: social science common core, major, general education courses, and elective. So from this table, you can tell that for the 5 major here, so here they have similar distribution of the unit. Then for European Study, because of the uniqueness of this major in nature, it includes intense language training, so that the curriculum is slightly different. So if you're interested in that, you may pay attention to that. We will introduce more details later on, and you're also welcome to join our the next session, which will have a specific introduction of European Studies. Before you process to the major study, student will take 1 social science common core course, the university core courses like University English and University Chinese, and some general education and 3 elective courses. So here are 3 social science common core courses. We have 1 unit common core courses called Invitation to Social Science for Year 1 students. So this course will help students develop broad understanding about the nature, basic principles, methodologies, and development of social science. For Year 3 and Year 4 students, we have 2 3-unit courses. One specifically focused on off-campus learning opportunities, the other focused on non-local learning experience. So students can choose any one of these 2 courses. We also have social science internship platform to support our students to help improve their off-campus learning opportunities, which is a part of the 4-year all-rounded training. In addition to that, we also have a numbers of faculty student scholarships, such as the Social Science Admission Scholarship for outstanding students shown here. So for students whose Hong Kong DSE results in one sitting satisfy the awarding criteria, they will be awarded a full tuition fee for year one study. This is a social science top-up admission scholarship for outstanding students. So for whose Hong Kong DSE results satisfy the awarding criteria of our university admission scholarship scheme for outstanding local student. Eligible student will be awarded a maximum of 10,000 of cash award and a maximum of 10,000 of non-local experiential learning grant. Moreover, we also have faculty student scholarships for academic excellence, community actions, and global exchange. So you can see that we have different scholarships to recognize students' excellent performance in different aspects. As I mentioned earlier, students after their arrival, they will receive a published training, and then they will be invited to apply for major for their further study. So for students who are interested in global and China studies, geography, government and international studies, history and sociology, they will be invited to apply for the major in mid-June of the first academic year. That is after the release of examination results of year one. So in this application, students will prioritize two preference among the 5 major programs based on their preference. For students who are interested in European study, you will be invited to apply for European study in the first semester of year one by taking the following program requirements into consideration. The European studies program include intense French or German language training. It also includes compulsory whole year 3 academic exchange or professional internships in France, Germany, or Austria. And if you apply for that, you will be invited to attend the interview arranged by the European Study program. So if a student success in the application, he or she will start the European major study from semester 2 of year 1. If a student fail, so they still can join the a major application in mid-June. That means that they still can prioritize the 2 preferred choices among the other 5 major programs in mid-June. So now we move to the second part, the major program introductions. So we are very pleased that we have representatives from geography, global and China studies, and histories to provide a more specific introduction of these 3 majors. Now, may I invite Dr. Hao Pu to introduce geography. Now I pass the time to Dr. Hao Pu.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. Let me just share my screen. Good afternoon, students and parents. It's very nice to meet you here virtually. So next, I'm going to give you a very brief introduction to the geography major, as well as our geography department. I'm sure that geography is a familiar term. I'm sure that you all have the experience of using maps or GPS to navigate. All of you would love to travel, although we are stranded nowadays, but we crave for traveling. And all those natural and social features that we want to visit, want to experience are related to geography. But what exactly is geography as a discipline? For instance, if you ask what is physics, we know that physics studies matters and energy and physical processes. And economics studies economic activities, production, consumption. Sociology studies our society. But if you ask what does geography study, I can say that geography studies all those phenomena and processes that I just mentioned. So what exactly is geography? Geography is a discipline that is defined not by its subject matter. It's a discipline defined by its distinctive geographical perspective and approach. In geography, we have three main sub-areas. In physical geography, we study different landforms, vegetation cover, soil and rocks. We study animal species and their habitats. We study climate change and the natural disasters. And in human geography, we study human activities. We study the movement of people and the things. We study how individuals perceive their environment, experience their environment and their society and the social interactions. And the third category is geographical techniques, including GPS, geographic information systems, GIS, and remote sensing. And all those techniques allow us to understand our world in much more depth and to make use of the latest technologies to those research and analytical activities. So next, I'm going to just make use a couple of examples to demonstrate how geography as a discipline and a perspective understand the world from the perspective of spatial variance. I'm going to use the example of a familiar phenomenon, the COVID-19 pandemic. We have experienced it, and COVID-19 has been ravaging the whole world, and our daily life has been impacted by it. And as scientists and doctors are fighting the virus at the level of biochemistry, geography is helping us understand the phenomenon. For instance, I'm sure that many of you have been using online platform like this one to see the spread and the distribution of cases, to the number of cases. And all those online COVID-19 dashboards or platforms like this one are powered by geospatial analysis and geographic information systems. Whenever there's a case, there's a location identified. So such systems acquire information and integrate information collected from all over the world to visualize and present important information to the public. And in geography, we are interested not just in visualizing or presenting patterns. We try to understand the reasons behind those patterns and processes. So for instance, we ask questions like how those viruses spread around the world and where are the origins of the viruses. So we know that when the virus is transmitted from one patient to another, mutations happen. And those changes in the pathogen is identified to its location where the patient is located. So by linking the two important elements, we can track the spread of the disease. And the information also allow us to understand the origin of the virus. So all those cases collected around the world had originated from Wuhan. The virus first spread from Wuhan to the rest of China, and then to Europe, North America, and then to the whole world. And over the past 2 years, the virus have been moving around, and up until today is still traveling around the world, mutating and causing new local outbreaks. So all those are spatial analysis. Another important concept in geography is scale. We can understand the pattern at a global scale. We can also understand the pattern at a finer, smaller scale. So for instance, we can analyze clustering and interactions in those so-called super spreading events. We see how people gather in certain places to understand the relations between those specific places and events with new cases. And another important concept is mobility. We try to understand the movement of people and things. So for instance, in this example, this is the mobility pattern of Hong Kong people from January to October last year, 2020. So as we can see here, this is the baseline, which is the average standard travel mobility trip frequency during normal time. And when the first wave hit Hong Kong, we see a dramatic reduction or in terms of travel patterns and trip numbers. And once there's a new wave, we see a reduction in terms of how many trips by walking and by driving conducted by Hong Kong people. And this is the third wave. So as we can see here, those data are acquired by smartphone users. Whenever we use those smartphone applications, we are sending and receiving spatial information to allow such analysis to be conducted. Similar analysis is essential to other platforms, such as when we use apps to order a delivery food, or we use app to call a taxi. What is behind those applications are geographical analysis and geospatial data. And in geography, we have courses covering all those aspects of geography. And we have all kinds of labs in the department to allow students to study geography in practical exercises. I'm sure that some of you attended our earlier virtual lab tour. So we saw a lot of equipment that we can make use of them to understand our natural and social world. And the department, we have a group of geographers specializing in all kinds of sub-disciplines, subjects in geography. So no matter what your interest is within geography, you will be well guided by our professors. We study geography not only in the classrooms and labs. We take our students to have local and overseas field trips. One of the highlights for geography majors is the overseas field camp that we take year 3 geography students to a foreign country. We visit multiple cities and natural sites to study physical geography, social geography, and we allow students to form groups to have their field trip and field data collection, and to have their mini project in those field camp exercises. Hopefully that we will resume overseas field trip in the near future when conditions allow. And our graduates enter a wide variety of professions, including urban planning, housing management, tourism, transportation management, real estate, natural conservation, etc. So as you can see here, it covers a wide range of areas in terms of jobs and in terms of profession. So if you want to learn more about geography and our department, feel free to contact us. And that's the end of my presentation. I'll just hand over to my colleague, Dr. Kang Yi. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Hao. Yeah, please, Dr. Kang. Yeah, please.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Hao and Dr. Lee. Let me share my screen first. All right. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm very happy to be here to give you a brief introduction of our pretty young program, Global and China Studies. I believe the first and foremost question that the students and their parents want to ask is what can the students learn in our program? Our program offers transdisciplinary curriculum to give students a comprehensive and a nuanced understanding of the socio-political, economic, and cultural processes of globalization and China's transformation in a changing world. We also offer language and research skill training to enable our students to become competent analysts and practitioners in global affairs and China's development. And in addition, our program has an important element of experiential learning. We offer experiential learning activities in mainland China and overseas to cultivate in students a cosmopolitan spirit and intercultural competence so that they can think globally and locally. And these are the 3 major components and elements of our program. And to foster these core elements, we require our students to join Summer Sojourn 1 at Tsinghua University in Beijing in the summer semester of year 2 to get systematic Putonghua training and also conduct some field research in local communities in Beijing. Our students can choose between Summer Sojourn 2 overseas and Global China Work Placement in Hong Kong, mainland China, or overseas in the summer semester of year 2 or 3. For international academic exchange and internship experience. And here is our curriculum structure. And given the time limit, I'm not going to elaborate it, but you can find detailed information in our leaflet. And our core courses include Global Study Theory, Global China, Research Skill Training, Summer Sojourn 1, and Honors Project. And our elective courses are constituted of two parts. The one part is what I have already mentioned, the experiential learning and a capstone, and the other part is four thematic courses which are offered by different departments that cover the themes of foreign relations and politics, innovation, economic and development, culture, heritage and communities, and people, city, environment, and resources. So the GCS program prepares our students for diverse career prospects, including international business and trade, consulting services, development advisor, tourism and marketing, education and research, management and public relations, media and communication, international organizations, government agencies, and NGOs. And students who are interested in our program can apply for the broad-based program JS2610 first, and you will be admitted this joint admission, and the students need to attend the broad-based courses in the first year, and then the students can choose our major GCS, Global and China Study, after their first year of study. So next, I'd like to invite one of our current students, Kelvin, to introduce some of the learning experience that he has had in our program, and I'm sure he enjoys the whole learning process. Kelvin, please.
Okay, yes, thank you, Dr. Khan.
Thank you.
So, hi, good afternoon, everyone. So, my name is Kelvin. I'm a Year 2 student of Global and China Studies program. So, GCS program is a multidisciplinary subject that study the affairs of China and the global. So, I'm very excited today to share with you my learning experience in this over half and 1 year. So, in fact, I learned so much from this over half and a year of study in GCS, and I have gained a deep understanding toward the global and China. So you can see that from this curriculum. In last year, in semester 1, we mainly study in global. In semester 2, we will shift our focus to the China. So next slide, please. So you can see that every week, the professor will cover one topic about the global. For example, you can see that there's a war and peace, economic, trade, health, pandemic, so culture and energy. So the course provides us with knowledge of every perspective of the global affairs. So after this course, I have an understanding towards the global. Okay, then in semester 2, we will shift our focus from the global to China. We mainly study the every perspective of China. You can see that there's an economic, security, global governance, diplomatic. So all in all, after this study, GCS program enrich our knowledge about the global and China. So I learned so much from this, and I'm not regret for choosing GCS as my choice. Okay, so another, you can see that there are some photos showcasing my fruitful university life I had in GCS program. So as you can see that, actually GCS is a very warm and close big family. Our students just like a big family. You can see that in the right side of the picture, there's a professor standing in front of our photo. Actually, we have a very close relationship. Unlike the traditional hierarchy, soft hierarchy that the professor have a distance to us. We have a very close relationship, and we always play together and hang out together. So next slide, please, Dr. Khan. Yeah, we always go to chill out and hang out. So I really feel a sense of belonging studying in GCS program. So it's a very warm family, a big family. So therefore, it's GCS a very good choice. So if you are interested in global and China affairs, so don't hesitate to join our big family. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so here is our contact information. You are welcome to contact us if you need further information of our program. And also feel free to talk to our colleague in the virtual booth. And we are happy to answer any question that you have regarding our program. So that's me at the end of my talk. And so I will now hand over to my colleague, Dr. Fan Wing Chung.
Dr. Fan, please.
Okay. So thank you, Dr. Kang, and thank you, Dr. Lee. My name is Fan Wing Chung, and I'm so happy here to share with our dear parents, dear students, and dear colleagues about the information of Department of History. And so in the Department of History, actually, there was a collaboration of a quite big teaching team, and there were professors and lecturers come from a different nationality and different regions all over the world. And they have their own expertise in the relevant historical research and just try to pay efforts for teaching the historical knowledge and sharing the historical perspectives with our major students. And so we offer some courses and participation in development of some courses and programs in the university. So for the undergraduate degrees, we just offer BA in history, such as a BA and BE education in liberal studies, and also other programs collaborate with the education aspects. And also we offer the minor program and postgraduate degrees, such as the research field as a PhD, MPhil, or master taught degree. And also we have paid effort in participation in other interdisciplinary degrees and concentration. For example, in BSocSc in Global and China Studies, and also offer some courses for the Gender Studies concentrations. And there are altogether over 70 courses provided by our department. And so for the details of the courses, if you are really interested in it, just pay attention to our leaflet provided by social science faculty. And also you can visit the history department website to reach the detailed information about the course provided by our department. And so as a department, academic department in HKBU, and our university has a long tradition in promoting and developing the GE courses. And also our university emphasized the importance of the GE general education for our students. And so for history departments has paid efforts and contributions to participate in the development of GE courses. And so we offer about 16 GE courses for all the HKBU students. And so about our academic aspects, as I mentioned before, we have too many teachers and come from different nationality, and they have their own expertise in the historical researches. And apart from emphasize on the importance of chronological span, we also pay attention to the geographical coverage with special attention to the East Asian, South and Southeast Asia, Middle East, European history, and also cultural and political activities in the North and South Americas. And in order to match the current trend of the historical researches and teachings all over the world, we also pay attention to the thematic expertise such as archaeology, architecture history, environmental history, gender studies, law, leisure, migration, military history. And so we realize that all the courses provided by our department to our students can be covered all the historical aspects all over the world. And so we offer also provide the minor in history program. And so wherever you're interested in to be major in history, or you can major in other discipline in the university, you can also declare as a graduate minor in history if you fulfill the minimum requirement just finished 5 courses provided by our department. That means bearing about 15 credits. And so you can just declare a graduate minor in history after you fulfill the university's graduation criteria. And apart from teaching, our teachers also paid great efforts and tried to contribute themselves in the research field of historical issues. And so in recent a few years, we have just published over 50 books and also some journal articles, and showed our efforts and historical perspectives in the relevant disciplines. And as students, you may concern what was the scholarships opportunities in Department of History. And actually, in recent years, we have paid great efforts to acquire, to provide many scholarships for our major students. So up to this moment, there are altogether 28 active endowment scholarship for 33 annual award. And so for the scholarships opportunities, we just tried our best to provide more opportunities to our major students. And maybe one characteristic of our department is that we have annual assembly every year, just at the beginning of the academic year, at the late September. And so many students who have very good, excellent academic performance, they will just recognized by our department and receive a certificate of excellence or certificate of merit. So for the undergraduate students in our department, usually win over 60 scholarships and prizes every year. And in order to assist our freshmen, our newcomers in our family, we just inaugurated a peer mentoring program and invite some senior year students to share their valuable learning experience and how to adapt the university life in the university and the department. Just share their experience with our freshmen and help all the newcomers to adapt the university life as soon as possible. And so there are some pictures, very cheerful, happiness picture to share the happy moments with among the teachers and show the close interaction and relationship between our faculty members and our major students. And so we also publish the newsletter every month, and just in order to share the updates information and just foresee the new development of our department with our students. And so for the department's development, actually, our students will acquire many useful informations from these newsletters. And so it's a department which has a quite long history, and in 2018 we just celebrate our 14th anniversary, and so we published a book collect many valuable memorable pictures and to show the development and the growth of our department. So there is a QR code, and just scan it and you can acquire the information about the development and history of our department. And a forthcoming very glorious moment for our department, that is, we will inaugurate our founding of our alumni association in the coming November, and also we will publish a book with an interview of our outstanding alumni. And so maybe that is other characteristics and our important activities in the forthcoming period. And so there's some previous time with students, and we have an annual assembly. We always chit chat with our students and just exchange the opinions about the further development of our department. And so maybe very interesting that we are the only department in HKBU to adopt an official anthems. So for the anthems, I've realized that the spirit behind the song may be the most important, because the whole anthems, including the music and the lyrics, were just composed and created by our alumni. And so it just shows the close relationship between the graduates of our department and also the spirit of we are a big family, a warm family. And so if you are interested in our department, so just try to visit our official website and acquire the useful and information for your reference. So that's all of my briefing session. So thank you very much. And I pass the time to Dr. Lee. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Fan.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now we, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we come to our admission requirements. So this table shows our general entrance requirements for Hong Kong students taking Hong Kong DSE for admission via JUPAS. So we can see that for Chinese, it's level 3, English level 3, mathematics level 2, liberal study level 2, and 2 electives, and both of them are level 3. We also have, in the last slide, okay, we also have specific minimum entrance requirements in 2020. For the first elective, it must be category A subjects, including M1 and M2. For the second elective, it can be category A subjects or other language subjects at grade E or above. So Hong Kong DSE score is the primary criteria. At the same time, we also consider other parameters, especially for us as the tiebreaker. So we may encounter that applicants may have the same Hong Kong DSE score, so we consider other factors. So here shows some of the parameters here, such as choice banding, Hong Kong DSE English results, and etc. So you can take a look at this table, and then we will move to the next slide. Okay. So for basically all of the subject, we have the same weighting. There's 1. So the weight of this, most of the subjects are 1, except English. The weight of English is 2. So because in our programs, we value our students' English proficiency. So you may need to pay attention to this one. So here's slide shows the admission scores of the past 4 years from 2018 to 2021. So I'll make here so you can see it more clearly. Okay, so for 2020 and 2021, so these are mean scores in this 2 year. This is 4 core plus 2 elective. Okay, so and then this is median and lower quantile of our enrolled students. You can also find this information in our AR's website. Please be reminded this is the statistics of the past year, and we understand that the situation may change each year. So, but this really reference for you for consideration. Okay, so now we move to. Okay, so that's all the information we would like to share with you. Now here comes to the Q&A time. You can type your question in your chat box, okay, or you can raise your hand, and then we'll invite you to unmute yourself and ask questions by microphone. Okay. Okay, we have questions asked whether it must include M1, M2 if choose this subject in JUPAS. The answer is no. We don't. This is not a must. But if you take M1 and M2, this would be considered in the application. But this is not a must. Thank you very much for your question. Any questions? So that I understand that you may need some time to type your questions. We have a question, but can you elaborate a bit more about this question? I don't get it clearly. Sorry. You can have any question about our block-based admission or the majors. Okay, so I will share one question that usually student or parent may ask. At the same time, you can think about your question, type your question in the chat box. Usually student may ask whether we have interview for this program. The answer is no for most of students. You don't need to take interview through JUPAS. But if you are from some stream, relative some streams like principal nomination scheme, 校長推薦計劃, or other like multifaceted excellent scholarship, etc., you will be invited for an interview. Any other questions? But feel free to ask questions. Okay, so maybe we wait for a while to see if we have one or two more questions. If no, then we will end this session. We have a question about, I think it's a GIS government and international study, right? So you're asking the medium score for entry for this major, right? The program works like in this way. So all the students, all the 6 majors, not just government and international study, including like European study, geography, histories, and global China study, etc. So all of them will be admitted in the same JUPAS code, JS2610. Okay, so the slide that I showed before, maybe I show you again. Here is the admission score for this board-based program. And then after you come here at the first beginning, and then you will receive a board-based training. So we have course offered by the different disciplines to get an understanding about this major. And then you will apply for the government international study. Okay, you will apply for the major. Okay, in mid-June. Okay, then you will, like, if you're interested in government international studies, so you can put that in your first priority. Okay, and then we will consider this is how the application works. So we don't have media score for particular majors, but we have score for the whole board-based admission. I hope I have answered your question. Thank you very much. How is the question about how is the situation of competition of this subject? So do you mean that is how competitive, right? In the application, if I understand in this way, I think it's really difficult to answer this question because it really changed year from year. So it's difficult for us at this moment to predict what may happen in next year. So I hope you understand. Okay, but here we can see some admission score, some statistic for a reference. Okay. We have a question about, say, we like 5 stars and for other majors maybe 2 or 4, etc. So this question level 2 or level 3, etc. Whether it's possible to enter histories and global and China studies. So it may be possible. So we may have some special consideration, but it depends because it evaluate case by case. Okay. So if any other colleagues have any supplements, feel free to just chip in if you have any supplement. Okay, we have another question If I have a bad result in one part, for example, Global and China Study, History or Geography of this course, will this affect the chance to select the major course afterwards or affect the overall result of the whole subject? When you apply for the major, we will first consider your preference. So that's why they will ask you to submit to preference. And in some extreme case, for example, one major is so certainly very popular in that year, no matter what reasons, and they will consider second criteria. That would be the GPA of your first semester. Okay, so that your GPA matters, but only when some like the case that I mentioned. Okay, so I hope I've answered your question. Okay, so any other more question? Okay, so if no further question, I would like to thank your participation again, students and parents. I'd also like to thank the speakers, our colleagues, and also our current student, Kelvin, right, to share your experience with us. I really appreciate that. Hopefully, I will see you on campus in the future. You'll be one of us. Thank you very much, and have a nice day. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.